Alright, this video is for the lesson 1.8 assignment. So all we're talking about today is the types of solutions you can get. So with these equations, and that's kind of what changes this year. You were doing two-step or multi-step equations last year in 8th grade. This year we still do multi-step with a little bit more, a couple more pieces. But we also look at the different type of solutions. So all the ones that you did on the quiz today had one solution. There's one number that you can put in there that's going to work and make that solution true. The other options that you have, I'm trying to make this a little bit more easier to tell that that's a 1, is infinite solutions. And that happens when you have the same thing on both sides. Okay? So if I would have something like this. One side is 5x plus 30. And then this side is 5x plus 6. And that's how they'll do it. If you use that distributive property that we talked about earlier in the unit, 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 6 is 30. Really, we've got the same thing on both sides. And so that's infinite solutions. And when we're talking about infinite solutions, I'll show you one. I'll graph it so you can see what it looks like. But the lines graph right on top of each other. And when we do systems, we'll look at the same thing. And then our other option is no solution. And no solution is when we've got two lines or two equations that have the same slope, but they've got different y-intercepts. And again, I'll show you on a graph visually, but their lines are parallel if you graph them. And that's all these equations are considered linear equations. If you graph them, they're going to make nice, pretty straight lines. And that's pretty much what we do this entire semester. We're going to play with linear equations this entire semester. That's all we're going to do. Go into a lot more detail than you have before. And you've been doing linear equations since 6th grade year. So how do we tell? So we can use the same method we've been doing. We can do menu 3(1), and then I can type that equation in. So negative 3x, and then parentheses, 2x plus 9 plus 4. Is it minus 9? Oh, thank you. Plus 4 equals negative 6x minus 25. And then we do comma x. Oh, why is it giving me that implied multiplicity? It shouldn't be. You may not have to. I have to put a multiplication sign in there, I think, to get mine to work. And it's still not doing what I want it to do. I see what I did. No, I see what I did. I put an extra x in there. Sorry, this is not the normal software I use. Okay, sorry about that. When you put the equation in, it's going to give you this answer, no solution found. And that means there are no solutions. And all you're going to do is put an in that box, no solutions. So to show you what this looks like when we graph it, okay, I'm going to graph just this side of the equal sign. So negative 3 times 2x minus 9 plus 4. And then I'm going to press the down arrow key, and then I'm going to put this side of the equation in. And you don't have to do this part. I just want you to see the visual on it. And so when I graph those two pieces, my lines are parallel. They're never going to touch. And so all these answers that we get, these numbers that we got on the quiz this morning, if we would graph those equations, that number is where those lines cross. And so no solutions never cross. One solution crosses in one spot, makes an x, and then an infinite solution is the same line. So then let's look at the next one. Again, you don't have to do the graphing part. That's just to give you the visual. So I'm going to do menu 3(1) and do 8x minus 12 equals negative 8x minus 12, comma x. And it gives me a 0. That's a solution. 0 is the solution. So that means that I have, let's use, because I don't want 1's and i's to look the same. we can. Let's do that. So this one has one solution, and then for infinites, let's use the infinity symbols. Let me get a dark pen to go over that. Infinity symbol is just a sideways 8. That's all it is. And that's all we're going to do on this whole page, is we're just going to test each equation. We don't have to have the solution. We just want to know how many solutions. So this next one has an m in it, and you can use m if you want. Minus 9 equals 2m plus 1 minus 40. That's not our bell, is it?
They didn't get breakfast and they have it in here now. Bryson Evans, John Dorshek, Bailey Stallings, Tucker Pack, Scout Lewis, Carl Patampan, Francis Patampan, and Andrew Siller. Thank you.
Okay. We can't comma X this one. We have to do comma M. So whatever letter you use, that's what goes after that comma at the end. If you want to change everything to X's, go for it. So that one says no solution found. So we're just going to put an N in that box. And so if we go back now to the next row, again, it's just drill and kill today. So we've got 3x plus 1 equals 5 times x plus 6, comma x. If it gives me a number, it's got one solution. So let's look at one now that has infinite solutions, that next one there.
Sorry to get teachers, but a few more kids. Ben Calvary, Eli Daniel, Alex Cadena, Keegan Abels, and Anna Amram. Thank you.
Okay, so comma x. Infinite solutions is giving me a 0 on this one, and it shouldn't be. What does y'all show? Because again, I'm using a different software than I normally do. Because it should give you something really wonky. So let's see what happens when I do it on here. Menu 3-1, 4x plus 5 minus 6 equals 2. Ugh. Y'all say 0 too? See, it shouldn't be. Comma x. Yep, mine's showing 0 too. All right, so our best option may then be, we may not be able to use menu 3-1 for these this year. I'm trying to think if I can do systems, if that would work. Let's do all these in the graph. Yeah. So, right-hand side or left-hand side goes into F1, that first line, and if you just press the down arrow key, it'll give you another line to type in, and then the right-hand side goes on a separate line. 7. And so you have to watch when they graph those. So you can see my blue line up there, but when I hit enter, you can see the red line go right on top of it. That red line is sitting right on top of it. That's how you know they're infinite solutions. Okay. So if we do it again, you got to start with a fresh graph. So you got to X out of it and start fresh. And so this next one over here, 3x minus 9 would go in the first one. Press the down arrow key. And then 3 times x minus 3. Hit enter. Graph's right on top of it. So that's those infinite solutions. So I'm going to do a couple more in the graph just so you can see what the others look like. All right, so this one right here. Now, in the graph, you have to use x's. You can't use any other letter. So this one you're going to have to put negative 6x minus 5 equals negative 5x plus 7 minus x. You just got to change all the letters. So negative 6x minus 5. Press the down arrow key. Negative 5x plus 7 minus x. Ugh, stupid keyboard. And then we hit enter. And so these are parallel. And if you're not sure, sometimes it's hard to tell if they're parallel. So if you're not sure if they're parallel or not, that's when you can go back to the calculator and go to menu 3.1 and type it in this side. Because this one will give you the no solution. It will say no solution. So comma x. And that's just kind of your double check. That one's a no solution. So if we go back to the graph, and we do this next one here again, remember x's. So I'm going to put 8 minus 4x. Press the down arrow key. Negative 4x minus 1. I'm going to hit enter. Again, they look like they're parallel. If you want to check and make sure they're parallel, go back and put it in menu 3.1, comma x, no solution. So that one for sure will tell you no solution. Everything else you need to put in the graph and make sure. So show you a 1 solution. So we've seen parallel, we've seen the same line. Let's look at one that's, so 2x plus 7 minus x. Press the down arrow key. 4x minus 9 plus 2. And so it's hard to tell, but you should be able to look and go, okay, those aren't parallel. You can zoom out, so menu 4, and if you just hit the enter key, it'll zoom out for you. But 1 solutions, they're going to cross in an X somewhere. They're going to cross in one spot. All right, so that leaves you with 6 problems. That's all I'm asking of you today. 6 problems on your own. I'll put this whole page back up for you. If you didn't finish the quiz, go in, get the quiz finished. And then that's all that I have for you today.